Hello everybody, Beth's Golden here. Today I am going to make a little mini album to feature these family heritage photos I have. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen, but my mom is notorious for mailing me photocopies of old photos, and I can appreciate that because she wants to preserve the original. But the problem is sometimes they can be hard to work with in an album because the quality is not always good and whatnot. And then she writes things on the back, like this one. The stuff on the back, oh my gosh, is just so funny, the stuff that she writes. Like this one is Sybil, 12 years old, which is my grandma. Marvel Dean with Johnny, 1937. On left, okay. Nose. Zedie, their mother, your great-grandma, died a year or so later. So it's kind of funny, these history notes on the back of this. And yes, that is the Dean nose. And if you guys know who Jimmy Dean is, that's my 7th cousin. And if for anything else, if anybody ever doubts it, I just say, look at the nose. And we all have the same nose. But it's funny because when we sing, we have the same vibrato. So anyway, that's useless information that you didn't need to know. But anyway, this is just some family pictures, and I want to copy down the back of it just to have the story there, but I've struggled with how to preserve it. So I think I have a way now. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. But these are some, the back of this one says, Nancy Dean, grandmother. Grandma says she was a nasty, mean person. Johnny confirms. The stories like that are just so funny. And this little kid has my eyes, or I have his eyes. And then there's some things that are not so fun and pretty about our family history, and this is one of them. Malcolm Dean, so handsome, but was not good to Grandma as a girl. And so, so there's some stuff that preserved that we need to keep in. We don't want to forget. I always want my history for my kids to be accurate. And so I know that what this young man did, and it was not good. I'm not going to write that in here, but we need to, I think it's important that we don't idolize our past because they were humans too. So I appreciate that she wrote that and was honest. This one makes me really sad. Is she not beautiful? Marvel Dean. Wow, what a beautiful girl. She and Grandma looked a lot alike. She died shortly after birth or something of TB, and I think was living in a hospital at that time. Was married and lost a baby. Sad. Grandma says baby was named Dreama, stillborn. Husband nearly died of grief. And then I guess I can't read some of this. The family took in Johnny, which is my grandma's brother. So I really appreciate the stories on the back, and I want to preserve them. So I'm going to copy those down, as well as preserving these pictures or photocopies of the pictures. The good thing about these photocopies is I can actually use them without page protectors. So what I thought would be a great thing to use is this little 7 Gypsy tie-dyed book kit. And so I'm going to use this, and then I'm also going to use this tape by 7 Gypsy, as well as this ribbon about families, and then some of the new sticker elements. I thought that those would be perfect with these pictures. And then this is some 7 Gypsy paper that actually came with that kit, but I'm going to use it in a little bit of a different way, and I'll show you how. So there's this, and then I'm going to pull in some Calico Collage, the Tattered Angel kit, or the Tattered Paper kit, which I thought would make beautiful background pages to the papers, to the book actually. I'm going to map this on the book, and I'm going to take one and I'm going to use it for embellishments. But in order for this to be used for embellishments, it needs to be two-sided. So I'm going to set one aside, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in just a minute. I think I'm going to use this Yeah, this blue one. So I'll set this aside for just a minute and I'll show you because it's going to take some time to dry. And then these cute little envelopes that a girlfriend gave me, that's what I'm going to copy the stories in the back and place the cards in here so that we always have the stories on the back of the pictures are documented. So, and then let's see here. Oh, this piece I might use. That's 7 Gypsies. And then I have some fun little metal embellishments that I thought would be cute off the side of that. And then I'm going to use the Close, Cross My Heart, Tattered Angel Glimmer Mist. For this, I'm going to actually use this to make the embellishments. And I have to turn it over and I need to spray it because it needs to dry. So I kind of shake on its side. You're supposed to swirl, but I dropped 2 mixable balls in there as well. And I just want to give it a nice spray on the back. Yeah, my family's home, sorry. So I'm going to let that dry while I set the rest of it up. So I'm going to go ahead and cover my pages in this book with the pattern paper, map my pictures and get the pictures in, and then I'll come back and we'll finish it off together. All right, so I got the album together and I'm actually going to be using it to be opened like this because my pictures were all horizontal. So there's the picture, and then on the top I have the journal. And what I went ahead and did was I just copied exactly as my mom wrote the on the back of the photocopied pictures, because it just, you know, she's not going to be around forever, and neither am I. And it just was just her. And I didn't want to lose that by trying to translate it into something it wasn't. So what I did was I went ahead and trimmed down the pictures to hold it, and I included everything in here. This is actually my grandma, her little brother Johnny, and her mom Zedie. And I learned a lot in this process that I didn't know. This is one of the last pictures taken before my grandma's mom died of TB. And my grandma, when she was 13, she's 12 in the picture, after her mom died, she was being mistreated by her brother, and her dad was a drunk. So she left the East Coast and set out for California on a train. She ran away when she was 13. And she ended up working as a nanny and house help at one location, and the man was not very good to her, the husband. So she fled from there and found another family who was, I believe, a Methodist pastor. And she became a Christian there, and she stayed with them, and they were very good to her for about 4 or 5 years. And then she met my grandpa, and they got married. She loved Johnny. I'd say she was probably closest to Johnny, also the sister that died, Merville. But I believe when Johnny got a little bit older, he hopped on a train and joined her in California. And Zedie, my great grandma, had 7 kids. And then this is my grandma's grandma, and her name is Nancy. And what is funny to me about this is my mom said that grandma said that Nancy was not a nice person. She was really nasty. And Uncle Johnny is who my mom called Johnny, agreed. What's interesting is my sister is named Nancy. So I kind of think that she was named after her, though my sister's not nasty. But I think it's so crazy how you'll pass down a namesake like that when you don't have good memories of the person, you know, that you're naming the kid after. So that to me was just bizarre. I'm going to do the front last. But you may notice that right here I have these border pieces, and these were about 11.5-inch border pieces by Fancy Pants, and I believe it was, the Park Bench, I think was the line it came from out of Fancy Pants, was Park Bench. So I thought that they looked really good in here, and I want to keep the album relatively flat. So we're going to go ahead and use these stickers. These are the new stickers from 7 Gypsies. and they're called Architectures. So these are, I like them because they look like, you know, old-fashioned stickers. And then I made this little embellishment, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I do have a YouTube down below on how to do it, but I'll show you the gist of it real quick. And then just some trinket stuff. I have an idea where I'm going to put that. This is going to go in the center after I show you how I did it. And then I'm going to top it off with some of this. Oh, and then the ribbon, of course. So those are the things I'm going to use. Sorry, I chased a rabbit there. Let me show you how I did this. The first thing you need to do is you need to cut out hole punch with 1-inch scissors about 9 1-inch circles, I should say. I flip mine over. Now remember, you have to do this with two-sided paper, or you don't want to have one side that's patterned and one side that's white. If you do, you need to spray it like I did, and you guys saw me spray it. This is a digital download. I really love the front, and so I just sprayed the back. And then you're just going to take this, and I flip mine over like so, so I can see exactly where it is. And I just punch out, you know, 9 of them. And it takes roughly 8 petals to make a flower. Once you get your 9 all punched out, you're going to take one of these pieces, so you're left with 8. And you're either going to run it through your sticker maker, or you're going to go ahead and just put some adhesive on it. Then from there, you're going to take and you're just going to make your petals by folding the edges up. Now, I've had some flowers end up being 6-petaled. I've had some end up being 8. If you have only some that are 6, it's okay. You know, it's just, it really depends on how big you fold these. So once you get it to this point, you go ahead and you ink the edges if you like. And then you are going to take this. You're going to turn it over so it's backwards, and you're going to lay it down. And you're going to line up. You're going to do roughly 8 of these, or until it comes over and looks like this. You have this. So see what I did on the back here? So you line it up like this. And then once you get it all lined up and perfect, you take your sticky thing and you put it in the center. And you press it down. And that's how you adhere it. And then you have a really cool paper flower. This is a great technique to use with your leftovers. I also like it because it's flat. We get so wrapped up in making everything bulky. It's hard to have albums like that. And if you're like me, where you've been paper crafting, you may have 20 years worth of albums, and you can't necessarily store all that bulky papers. I like to keep 1 year in each album. And when I was doing bulky scrapbooking, I was using 5 albums a year, and that adds up. So, you know, in 10 years, I'd have 50 albums versus 10. So I had to get creative, and that's just one way that I do it, is I make my own flowers. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and put the center on, and I'm just going to use this really pretty black little resin piece. And I'm using just my favorite craft glue, which is Brutus Monroe. And I can put more in there, I think. Okay, and I do have the extended tip on it to make it so I can do small things. And then the cool thing about this glue is it does dry perfectly clear. So although you see some white right now, it's not going to show that when it's dry. And that's how I know it's dry, is the white will be clear. Now, the reason why I chose black for the center of this is because black is really a nice contrast and a dynamic type color against other colors. And so I have black up here, and I'm going to do something up here with this as well. And so I just wanted there to be some correlation between the two. I want it all to connect, and you'll see at the end. If you use this little brag book by 7 Gypsies, I'm going to give you a hint. Right here, the book itself is 5 by 7. However, when you cut your pattern paper, don't cut it 5 by 7, because then you're going to have these holes you have to deal with. Now, on this one, I had to do that because I have this piece, which is separate, and this. And I just used my Crop-A-Dile, and I was good. But what you can do as a cheap way out, a cheater way out, is cut it 5 by 6. do 5 by 6, because that last inch is actually covered up by that piece. So you don't need to go to all the extra work. All right, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and just add in some stickers. And you could do bulkier things, but I just want the stickers to be simple and keep everything flat. Let's see here. Let's do Oh, the Places You'll Go, because boy, did they go places. And then this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and just to give it a little bit of personality. I'm not looking for much. This one is hard for me to do anything with because I know the history of this man and I don't have much things to say that are nice about him. So we're going to put something that doesn't have words on it. He didn't make my grandma happy, and it wasn't a sweet memory. Oh, this is cute. You make me smile. This is actually my Uncle Atwell's first wife, and that's my mom right there that she's holding. And I like to work in 3s. So, and babies are always embraceable. This is I don't really know her. I don't think she's a bad person. I just don't necessarily think she was a happy person. So we'll just put that sticker there. And this is my great Aunt Merle, who died of TB. And she does have some association with some sweet memories for my grandmother. So I will go ahead and put that there. And they were kind of best friends. And this was a happy day. I believe she died like not very long after that. And then we'll just say a walk in the park. Oh, and it's funny, my mom kept talking about our ski slope noses as she journaled. And then she also talked about this squint that all of the Dean kids had. And yes, I have seen baby pictures of myself, and she's like, you have that same squint. And so does she. And I have seen baby pictures of myself and even adult pictures. And yeah, I look just, my eyes look just like that when I squint. My face looks like that. It's so crazy. And then this really is a picture about my grandma really did adore her brother Johnny. And so You Make Me Happy is definitely one that is relatable. So, I mean, you can just look at the picture. The look on my grandma's face as she's looking at her baby brother. She adores him. Such a beautiful picture. Okay, so that's about all I'm going to do on the inside of this. I really want the journal and the pictures to speak for themselves. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and just finish this off. And I use it comes with a set of two screw sets, a larger one and a smaller one. And I use the larger one. I always tend to need a bigger one, especially since I'm going to be putting a bow here. Let's see if that's how I want to do it. Or do I want to go over? This project ended up being much more meaningful to me, and I learned a lot about my family history doing it. I mean, I've had these pictures and I've read the backs a couple times. I've probably had the pictures for 8 years. My mom sent them to me 8 years ago. And something about rewriting the journaling and looking at the pictures and all of that, again, and just writing it out just did something to me. It just, I don't know, I understood. I didn't only necessarily hear, but this time I comprehended, you know. And so, yeah, that was pretty cool. I was kind of shocked. I didn't expect to get so much out of it as I had. Do I want to put this down here? More in the center. It's really just personal preference at this point. I think I like that size. Put that under there. Sometimes if your tails on your bows are giving you a hard time, just shove them underneath the other line of the ribbon. Okay, and then from here, I want to add this. And I'm going to put this down, probably like right there. And then I'm just going to do a cluster. A cluster of embellishments. I like to work in threes. Threes is always a good number. There we go. And then that right there. And I'm going to use my glue again. You could use tape runner on this if you chose. Don't really want to hide those too much. And then from there, I'm going to add a few dots. Because like right there is a nice hole. All right, and then okay, so there we go. That is my little family keepsake heritage type album that is ready to be, I don't know, honestly, if I'm going to store it or display it. It's recorded. I got the memories down. I don't know. This one was kind of an emotional one, you know? So I may put it away for a little bit. And the whole process for me was worth it. You know, I learned things that I didn't know. And I'm relatable. I found these individuals that I've never met relatable to me, and that there's comfort in that. And so right now, the process that I just went through making this was totally just worth it. I don't know if I have the ability at this point to put this out yet to display, and that's okay. You know, sometimes you have to put things away for a little bit and then bring them out later. This was therapy. So anyway, this is how you can make a little album to document your family. And I hope you guys will come back and see me again, because I have some other fun projects that I want to do that aren't so emotionally heavy, maybe. Anyway, until next time, happy crafting. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. Give this video a like if you liked it. Please leave any comments and feel free to share. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.